feel like most of my appreciation comes from them because of discussions that we've had here or things I've heard discussed on podcasts. So I guess what I'm asking is, why do directors sometimes choose to do these very long one-shot scenes? Now, and this is kind of a two-parter. Back before the internet, and now that people sit around and talk about how impressive it is, and maybe the vocal minority can inform people of how cool or interesting this is, like, why would directors in 1978 and in 2020 decide to do these shots? What is there something that's subconsciously, visually more satisfying about them or impactful that I don't realize?
So I want to use, I know Mark's going to have the best insight here. You've worked on film sets, so I'm going to give him my quick and easy answer here. You're talking about the first Halloween, obviously the POV tracking that's meant to embody, a kid or a person rather. So there's clearly a mood there. If you're talking about Kubrick, right, you're talking about atmosphere and dread, following Danny in a hotel. But if you're talking about something, and I want to use this example specifically because you mentioned the internet age, from True Detective,
gunfight.
Yeah, so I know this is probably needed context for a lot of listeners who may be listening to this, but either have seen it or you haven't, so you know what I'm talking about. But that scene, apart from being just meticulously near impossible to pull off, I think you're just going for a different mood. For that example from True Detective, exhilaration, thrill, risk. So much is going on that you are just in it, and the cut sort of just impedes that, right? So you get this sort of adrenaline rush coming, especially with the scene in question. And again, I apologize, can't really adequately explain the context, but basically it's Matthew McConaughey who's pulling off, a sting of a lifetime with these ne'er-do-wells, and it's high stakes. So you see this, I don't know how long it goes on, but it's very long, and it's just incredible.
I want to say that was like 5 to 7.
It was insane.
Minutes. It was really long.
Very long.
Stupid. Yeah, it was great.
I would say in recent memory, that's the best one I've seen. But my short answer before I throw it to Mark, I do think it's just a mood thing. And I think the best ones hold you by the throat and don't let go in the case that the True Detective one does.
Sometimes it could be a money issue, right? It's less setups. So you have one camera. So Atonement,
so if
right?
you have the time to rehearse, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
A lot more.
So like Atonement, right? When James McAvoy walks through Dunkirk, I believe it is, when he walks through that scene. It's a hell of a oneer, which takes time to rehearse. But if you had to do individual shots of that, that's a 2-week job, right? But if you rehearse and prep and shoot, that's probably like a 1-week job. You storyboard it, you cast, you bring them out. You could almost save money doing a longer take sometimes. It's less setups.
Of course, also, you need talent to back it.
Yeah, so I mean, but like as opposed to having extras for 2 weeks, you have extras for a week. So it's just kind of thinking about that process. In Protector, it is just, I mean, when he's running up Tony Jaa, when he's running up the stairs,
cool.
I mean, that just shows like that feels warranted because he's fighting his way up. And it's just showcasing.
I thought there were film tricks that made that look like one shot. That was really one shot?
Yeah, that's like a
I guess they have so many well-trained stuntmen in that you can get away with that.
Hard Boiled, right? One of the greatest oneers of all time. They used the same floor. And then what they did was, to save money, they would have the gunfight, and then they would move everything, and then they closed the elevator doors, opened the elevator doors, and then they ran through again to do that. It's just to make it fast, to save a little money, to shoot. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just to show, like, Alfonso Cuarón in Children of Men. Like, this is amazing. I am filming they're going up staircases. The opening
scene that leads to the explosion?
Yeah, the car chase and then going up the stairs. I think it's a tactic and Joe Wright has done it a lot with Hannah and Atonement.
The war movie that just came out last year that was basically all
Midway?
Oh, yeah, 1918. That had a ton of different cuts.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest flex. And I would say a lot of studios tried to do it for that reason.
Yeah, it's kind of a gimmick. And hey, look at our oneer. The Chris Hemsworth movie did it in Extraction. And there's articles about how they did the oneer. So people love Daredevil, the Daredevil oneers that were always talked about.
The hallway fight in season 1, yeah.
They get press. And a lot of that time, they had no time to rehearse, man. Like the biggest rehearses were with the camera. And so they had a day to shoot those, rehearse.
How to move it around the people in the set, you mean?
And yeah, it's just they didn't have much time. And there's a lot of coverage, man. Some of these fights that you watch, you're on set sometimes watching these fights and you're like, this sucks. This is 70s, like, watch some of these fight scenes. There's so many cuts. That means that they have to shoot so many things.
Right.
I was on a set. I'm not gonna say one, but a huge fight that takes place. There was like 4 different crews getting various elements of one fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, you get this oneer, you get 50 extras, you play it out for a week, you rehearse, you storyboard, you get some good ADs, you get some good camera, you practice it, and then you shoot it. It's, I don't know, but it only works for me when it furthers the story. So Protector, for me, when Tony Jaa's fighting his way up, that makes sense to me. And because he's fighting, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a fan of oneers. I'm not. They're
You're
cool,
not a fan
but,
of oneers.
No, I mean they're cool.
You're a fan of unnecessary ones, I think you're trying to say.
And I guess I don't like a lot of meat. You know me, John. We've talked about this for a while. Like, I love Edgar Wright's films because he storyboards them and plans them meticulously, and there's a lot of quick cuts. I like H2O because there's no meat on its body. It's just an 80-minute movie. Wes Anderson, he does a lot of dolly shots. So they're longer, but they're as far as the dolly track can go. They're not ultimate oneers. It's just, I don't know. It's just not. I don't like showy-offy things. So maybe that's why I like H2O, because it just doesn't feel like a showy-offy movie to me. And that was a long digression, but I don't know. What do you think about oneers, John?
Me?
Yeah.
I feel like I enjoy them more when I already know about them from the internet.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's the thing. It's like, then I see it, because if you're watching the hallway scene in Daredevil, you don't know it's going to be a oneer. So you might not even realize when you're 2 minutes into that fight that there hasn't been a cut. Even if you're a fight, and I am a fight movie connoisseur. I love critiquing choreography, but I'm paying attention to just that. Choreography and the use of the surroundings. I might not really register that there wasn't a momentary cut. I do notice when there's a lot of cuts, when you're doing a punch cut, 2 punches cut, another punch cut, different angle. I hate that stuff. It drives me nuts. And even though Van Damme, I love him, there's so many movies where he does the exact same jump kick 3 times in a row, or he does a 2-punch combo. Then you see the exact same 2-punch combo later in the movie. Even Rocky is a little guilty of it, but there's so many punches you really need to be a Rocky fan to notice them. But so I wouldn't have noticed, I don't think. I might have said, wow, that was a long, straight shot of fight scene, but I don't know if I would have known that the hallway fight was all one shot. Extraction, that's another one. There's so much going on when he's going through those hallways and that one really elaborate one shot of that building. Mm-hmm. I don't think I would have registered that all that was one shot. I think I would have registered there were some really long shots there, and that's impressive. So I think that the internet really stokes the fire of my excitement of these scenes when I know they're coming.
Yeah, they become events.
Yeah, if you type in Halloween oneer, they'll be like, how they did it. So, I mean, I guess it's good press, right?
And even if I don't realize it until the end of the scene, but then I'm like, oh my God, that was it. That was all one scene. Oh my, then it hits me, but it's not the same as noticing it as it happens. I don't have that level of trained eye. I'm not just going to inherently notice that no matter how many times I watch how many movies. That's not my bag. That's not my skill set. That's your skill set, Mark. Mm-hmm. So that's why I say it's like, for me, that's why I asked, before internet, after internet, why do people do this? I'm interested to hear this. By the way, I have some LL Cool J questions.
Yes.
Actually, one of them is a comment. It comes from, again, my lab mate at work, and Michael said, and I think this is really funny, I want to see a completed novel from LL Cool J's character. And it is so sweet how LL Cool J, you mentioned it earlier, is working on that novel, and he's always bouncing it off of his girlfriend, his very serious girlfriend, it sounds like. I'm assuming they've lived together for a while, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
And she's giving him input. He's even improvising and kind of lying about what he has written when she says, oh, she ain't going to buy that. Oh, you weren't listening. And then she said, I ain't buying that, or something like that. Yeah. Like, it's really cute, the lived-in nature of their relationship, right? But so, and LL...
He's writing that book.
Did you guys ever think to yourself while watching this movie, poor LL Cool J, Because we know, even back in 1998, we knew he is by far the most physically capable character in this movie. Now, they hide him underneath that jacket, but we know that dude can bench 350.
Mm-hmm.
We know it. He can. And so he's hidden under there, but we know who he is. And he's got Mike Myers, who could just stab him in the back when he's walking in to the school through the gate. Mm-hmm. Michael Myers is playing with him at the guard station and doesn't take him out then. And then LL Cool J gets shot by Adam Arkin in a panic.
Yeah.
And I love his character. I do. But I just found myself thinking, like, poor LL Cool J. Do you think that either A, this was already written this way and then they happened to get LL Cool J, and so they played it the way they wrote it, or B, that they were having fun with what fans of LL Cool J know and think about LL Cool J and totally playing against all of your expectations of Mama Said Knock You Out, pecs for days, tattoos all over LL Cool J?
So, do you want to know why they brought him into this movie? And they say it in the documentary. Did you watch this, Adam?
I did not.
I know I did. It's been a while, though. Was it not just a stunt casting?
Yeah, the producers were like, yeah, rappers were hot at the time, so we brought him in.
Yeah, it was a stunt casting.
Was the writing already there, or did they rewrite it based on the fact that
he improvised the comb your hair line, which I love. So I guess the character was there, but I bet you they let him have input. You're not bringing in LL Cool J.
Well, don't get me wrong. I felt his vibe.
Yeah.
It's just that I felt him giving his vibe to a script he was handed.
You're right. You know what? They never touch on any of that, so I don't know. I do know that he stayed on set.
Because in Deep Blue Sea, he feels tough when he fights the shark. In this, he has not a scintilla, not a moment of tough, even though we have Mama Said Knock You Out, Ladies Love Cool James.
I bet he was happy to do that, right? I mean, that's the persona that you have. So now he gets to go play a erotic book writer who talks to his girlfriend.
I don't want to say it's against type, but I do appreciate that. I mean, how we've seen what happens when a stunt casting goes with the perception, right? Which was the Busta Rhymes character.
Doing a jump spin kick?
Yeah, like they're obsessed with kung fu and they're very macho and they're cussing a lot. And it's like, well, okay, but what's new and exciting here? And maybe it wasn't new and exciting, but I did like his character. I thought it was nuanced in a way that maybe a typical, person of color who, played that role would have taken a different way. I don't know.
So just him and Josh Hartnett too. He's a big softie, and she's like, "Eyes up, Ronnie." He's always letting people out.
Right.
He's just a nice guy.
In that scene alone, she's commanding that she's the boss. So I don't think you really wanted or needed. That would have been a weird chemistry, right? To have this sort of alpha, Laurie Strode competing screen-wise with this alpha.
Sure.
LL Cool J.
Getting grazed with a bullet.
And then we get a great psycho gag in there. And then we get the Janet Leigh with the bathroom showers are clogged in her old car.
I love that. I know it was fan service to the max, but I think that was a lovely scene.
Dude, her mom, I love it.
Did anyone else notice, by the way, that when Michael Myers was sneaking in past LL Cool J, that when LL Cool J turned the ignition off of Mike Myers' car that he took, that the ignition was on the window side of the driver steering wheel?
Huh. I mean, could we chalk that up to that being just an old car? Or?
Yeah, it's an old vehicle.
I've never encountered that where you would use your left hand to put in the key. I just thought I noticed that, and I was thinking, is that just because it's easier and less awkward visually than him reaching, over and around to do it?
I haven't noticed at all.
I never even thought about that. Jeez Louise.
And then you guys mentioned earlier maybe he lives on campus. And it took me 2 watches and a week getting ready for this podcast to realize that our guidance counselor, played by Adam Arkin, lives on campus as well. And that Jamie Lee Curtis did, and that her son did, because I always used to think that when she says you have 30 minutes to pack, I was thinking, oh, right, I guess he lives here with the students. No, wait, in the beginning, they were at their house. Okay, they live there. And then later Adam Arkin says, I'll see you in 20 minutes. I'm going to finish doing rounds. And when he shows up, he's changed.
Right.
Like, is this place maybe just that remote? Maybe LL Cool J and his girlfriend do live.
Oh,
like there.
No, it's a larger campus maybe, but it's a secluded school for all intents and purposes. Yeah. So I'm sure everybody, maybe, I don't know about LL Cool J's character, maybe he didn't, but yeah, you had a lot of live-in faculty on that
Okay.
campus.
And on the tune of